We are trying this again. So I lost the first recording. Hopefully this one makes it through. And hopefully I'm more succinct. So this is the TrueSky. This is the LivingSky. I am definitely looking for my language on this. Those words are not my words. Now I'm borrowing other people's words to describe true Sidereal. I do really love LivingSky, though. That is working for me right now. So if you are someone interested in astrology, you are here. If you are someone interested in human design, you might be here. Part of the human design chart is based on astrology, and most of the human design readers out there are reading from a tropical lens. So I am interested in helping people become comfortable with Sidereal, at least as a side-by-side companion for tropical. I am still open to tropical. It's what I grew up with. It's what all of my early training, it's what all of my training has been in up to this point. My very first astrology teacher was a very wonderful elderly woman who owned a bookstore, a tiny little bookstore. People did not know how old she was, but she was old then. And I think I was around for another 20 years in that area, and she was just still running the store and supporting other practitioners in various metaphysical and esoteric teachings. So I have been very fond of tropical. In 2017, I started packing away different parts of my practice. I will go into that story at another time. But I did readings, I did coaching and consulting. I had a bodywork practice where I was offering massage therapy and energetic treatments. And in 2017, I started questioning everything. And I stepped away from the majority of it. I do not fully understand what all of that was about. But as I am spending more and more time with the sidereal sky, I'm beginning to understand that, at least in terms of this particular language, the language of astrology and celestial placements, I am becoming very, very curious about what kind of impact on our psyche and our ability and willingness to respond to the current present day times. I'm curious about what our ability and willingness to do that in current day time creativity. Like, how are we being affected and programmed and conditioned when our psyche is tuned into a system that's a couple thousand years old? It's not the same as saying the system is wrong. The more I spend listening to the contrast of the tropical reading and what is happening day to day, if we were able to look up, if we had the luxury, I consider it a luxury to have a telescope, or if you go out and get Stellarium. I love the Stellarium app. You can get that for your phone. It is free. And you can also get one for your laptop or desktop, whatever you're working with. And you can look at the sky in real time with those apps. So when I listen to some of my favorite tropical astrologers, and when I look at the TrueSky, the in real time sky, it's a different story. And my question to all of us is, what is tuning into and adapting to an old story, that would be tropical, doing to our ability to creatively respond to the new story that is not visible just yet? That's the question that I'm asking. And so I am very interested in helping more of us become comfortable with consulting the LivingSky. I do believe that part of our resistance to sidereal astrology, sidereal placements, is our attachment to who the tropical system says we are and how we're supposed to react and respond. I also believe even more clearly that our attachment to the tropical placements in our chart is really, really strong when we only have like a solid understanding of one or two or maybe three of our placements, period, regardless of what system we're looking at. So if we're someone who heavily identifies with being a sun this, a moon that, and an ascendant this, or sun, Mercury, Venus this, then we don't have a relationship with many multiple layers of our chart, which is challenging to do because there's so many layers of the chart to look at. And one of the things about astrology is no one person is ever going to have eyes on the entire story in a chart, which is one of the beautiful things about there being so many readers out there coming at it from different perspectives. You can get so much from different readers, and I encourage, if you have the capacity and the interest to take in different genres of astrology, then I encourage you to do that, because it will help you see yourself from a very multi-dimensional place. So our focus, when you come into my world, and that you might find me through the Feral Futures podcast, you might find me on Human Design and Practice on Skool, and I'm hoping to be able to post this on YouTube. We'll see if I don't crash out the program again, on Earthside Collaborations. I am focused on building my relationship with the LivingSky. It's giving me a different perspective. So let's talk about this. Right now in tropical, we are hearing that the sun is in Aries in tropical. And you might also be hearing that there's going to be a conjunction between Saturn, Mercury, and Mars in Aries. And this is in the tropical system. But what we're looking at here is the sky map for today. And I can adjust this. We'll make this 11:10, which is the time that it is where I am right now. And you can go to masteringthezodiac.com. That's where I have gotten this chart. And I believe you'll see the options. I think that you can do this free. You don't have to set up a membership, I think. Although the default setting is to tropical. If you want to use Sidereal, then that is part of the membership, which is $15 a month. And they'll let you try it out for 7 days, I think 7 days trial. So anyway, this is the only one that I know of that draws down this Sidereal. Although if you go to AstroSeek also has a Sidereal option. So those two, you can play with Sidereal. Okay, so this is Sidereal. You will notice that the houses are different sizes. You'll also notice that there's this extra house here. Because I lost the last recording, I'm just going to get out the basics today. I'm not going to push it and try to talk about Ophiuchus down here, but this is a significant part of the TrueSky Sidereal conversation. So as you can see in Sidereal, if you were to look up into the sky today, the sun is still in Pisces. Pisces is a wide constellation. Aries is a tiny constellation compared to Pisces. So when we're looking at the LivingSky in our current time, we're still moving through Pisces. We're not in Aries season the way people say or the way we say in tropical, because I'll just go ahead and own my tropical lineage. It's true. And I still consult my tropical charts. If you stick with me, I will talk about like moving between the two because I have noticed continuity between my tropical and my sidereal. But for our purposes, what I want you to keep in mind as you are listening to people talk about the things that we talk about when we talk about a very undeveloped Aries. This is another thread of conversation, and I have actually brought this up in videos, I believe, on the channel. I don't know if I've gone into it too much in the podcast, but we have in our society an immature relationship with Aries. I don't hear as many people talking about what it means to be a mature warrior as I feel we need to have more people having this conversation. However, we're still hanging out in Pisces. We have not moved on into Aries season. So what does that mean to you to still be in the Pisces? I'm going to call it the house of Pisces. Sun, Saturn, Neptune, Mars, and Mercury hanging on here at the end. We've also got Chiron. That's 6 bodies in the constellation of Pisces having their conversations through Pisces. What does that mean to you? Because it's a different story than the story of having these bodies over here in Aries, which is not what's happening in our living sky. So the idea that this constellation of energetics is not talking to us at least as loudly as the historical energetics of the constellation, if we're talking about it from tropical, we are not tapping into the benefit of understanding what the actual lived story is right now. And I know that we like to talk about Pisces as being the watery, sort of loopy, spiritual, not really grounded, dreamy, blah, 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 blah. That gives Pisces no responsibility for what Pisces can handle. Keep in mind, Pisces is the culmination of everything that has come before in this system. That is not something or a force of the cosmos that is just lost in the dream. That is a fully informed, this is what has happened up to this point, state of being, as well as the other things that we attribute to Pisces. I would like for us to allow our relationship with our symbols to mature and develop, because that is actually the nature of humanity. That is the nature of life. We evolve, we develop, we grow. So let's bring Pisces out of this, I want to sleep all day, and just like the generic pop culture relationship that we have with this archetype, and let's drop in a little bit deeper. And again, I don't trust this recording, so I'm gonna wrap it up here, but I wanted to come in and show you today's sky. This is the 9th of April, 2026, just to give you an invitation to go spend some time with the TrueSky on your own. Again, AstroSeek has a TrueSky option. I'm using masteringthezodiac.com or TrueSkyAstrology.com. And you can also go to Stellarium. There's an app that you can download for your phone. It'll show you the constellations and the planets, and you can look whenever you'd like to look and see where things are in real time. And then if you would come back and join me, we will continue this conversation of how to develop a relationship with these signatures in real time. Because what is happening in the world, I believe, needs us to also be able to respond in real time. The historical patterns are important, but we are being presented with where we're going. There is so much that's changing. And it is my belief that being able to tap into the living sky, you guys, just listen to that language, the living sky, being able to tap into it and work with it with some degree of consciousness. I believe that's where our symbolic power is. It's not the only different places to draw support and power from, but if you are someone who tunes into astrology and human design, I am just encouraging you to develop a friendship with the real sky, the living sky, today's sky. So thank you for joining, and hopefully I can get this uploaded. If not, I might cry and start over. Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of your week, wherever you are and whenever you are tuning in.